Right, ladies and gentlemen, MiG Blaze versus Counter Logic Gaming. Game number 2 is about to get underway. Everything on the line here for CLG. They need to win this game in order to stay in this tournament. MiG Blaze hoping to close it out with the second win of the series. And MiG Blaze is going to be the blue at the bottom left of the map. CLG is going to be sporting the red in the top right. And this game, neither team, well, actually,
we do actually see MiG
Blaze
very,
has a
very aggressive summoner spells. 3 ignites, 2 exhausts, able to do a lot of damage level 1, so if they do actually get into a position to pull off any of CLG, they will be able to kill them very, very quickly.
And CLG going with the top lane, bottom lane swap, as Cho'Gath is a very good 2v1 laner and Talon isn't. And MiG Blaze has a really strong level 1 comp right now with All-Star stun and TS stun.
Could they be sending Vayne solo top?
I don't think so. Vayne isn't that good of a solo versus an assassin like Talon. I'm pretty sure Lulu will go along.
Yeah, I have seen Vayne do really well against Bruiser's top, but you're right. Talon's gap closing ability and his burst probably going to do very well there. So very, very interesting, and curious to see if we're going to have Blaze just try and deal with it and have 2v1, or if they're going to try and switch the lanes up a little bit and try and switch Talon to the bottom.
Because it's All-Star Graves, they might actually get a kill on Cho'Gath if they play the lane properly, so we'll see how Blaze does. And then with the swap from bottom to top, and on the purple side, you can start double golems on top, which is really nice for the top lane.
Oh, that's actually really cool, yeah. So
you also see Blaze grabbing the double golems on their side, so that's going to allow Mundo to be a little bit more
aggressive. Oh no, the red buff Lizard reset. It went back to its original location and healed up to full health. That's going to set him back a lot. It's going to mean he's going to come out of that red buff with low health, lower health than he wants. And oh no, oh, they weren't expecting 2 up here, and Fantasy Star almost gets picked off early on.
Misplayed that. If he was up with Lulu, he saw Tasker standing there. They could have pressured Talon so much more for that, but Talon already went back and they're trying to swap the lane. So what bottom lane's doing right now with Captain Jack and Lustboy, they're pushing out the lane so they can do a lane swap. And Fantasy Star also already going bot. So what CLG needs to do is push top as hard as possible and also swap. So it's Talon versus Lulu Vayne again.
And we do see Mundo coming in to make sure he gets a lot of these last hits on these minions so they don't lose anything on their team. Lulu's going to be stuck up top, so I don't know if she's going to be able to soak up any of those last hits. She's going to need to switch very, very soon. Cho'Gath is actually staying in the bottom lane a little bit too long here, so going a little bit in favor of MiG Blaze if they can get this swap done quickly.
It's interesting. We've actually seen this before. I don't remember which game I saw this in where there's this swap happen and there was actually like 3 or 4 or 5 swaps where one team would swap and the other team would swap, and they kept going back and forth, each team trying to gain the more beneficial matchup in the lanes. But we do have, for the moment at least, Fantasy Star soloing on the bottom here against those two, but I don't think he's going to be able to stand up too well to that double if he sticks around.
Yeah, Blaze is in a really good position. Talon, or really bad position. Talon versus Lulu Vayne is unlaneable.
Yeah.
And Vayne Lulu is not that favorable versus All-Star Graves, so it's so good for double now that he gets a free farm lane because they're constantly swapping. And Cho'Gath with his WQ and passive, with his W and Q, he can easily farm the lane.
Now we see Maokai coming against Mundo. He's going to try to steal the raids, but nothing's going to be happening there as Twisted Fate's going to be able to come in and defend against that, just forcing Saint Vicious to go back to his own jungle and send him home.
Talon at 2 CS, he's in a really bad position. He's going to need to constantly swap his lane. This isn't what Fantasy Star wanted at all.
Yeah. So Blaze, look, they did this again. They pushed the lane up really far so that they can try and switch their Alistair Graves back to the bottom again. But every time they do this, they spend some time where they have to walk back out to lane.
Every time they do this, Vayne is constantly farming. You want to stop a Vayne from farming as Graves, but you're not allowed to do that if everyone's constantly switching lanes. This is really good play by CLG, and this is what they're known for, switching lanes, split pushing, poking. This is one of their key strengths, and they're really playing to it.
Do a lot of Korean teams play this style? Is this something that Blaze is just not too used to playing?
MiG Frost is one of the teams that actually do this a lot, and they're used to this, but they're not dealing with it that well. Because when we do it, we take teleport on the top laner that's going to swap, which would be Cho'Gath right now, but Hotshot didn't. So Blaze was sort of faked out. They didn't think they would be doing the 2v1
for Fantasy Star. He's going to get jumped on in just a second. Oh, the rupture misses. Oh, that would have been the death of him with 2 level 4 champs there. That would have been so, so bad. I think actually his Maokai's level 4 as well, but the rupture missed.
Yeah, and even if they stay in their lanes now, we already see Vayne at 37 compared to Graves' what was 27, so almost 10 CS above the AD. And Cho'Gath's 26 compared to 6, so almost 20 up there. So even if they just left the lanes the way they are right now, it's still a really, really nice opening by CLG. However, they're only ahead by 0.4k gold, not anything crazy. But that's going to give them a little bit of flexibility to go for an early dragon if they do get the items that they need.
And it's so important for a Talon to get farmed to get his Bloodthirster and Brutalizer. If he doesn't get damage items, as an assassin, if you're not one-shotting a carry or a support, you're going to be really, really useless in a team fight. And Talon without items does okay damage, but Vayne is farming really well, and Lulu isn't that easy of a support to kill, so not looking that well for MiG Blaze.
Yep, even in the mid lane, Kennen versus Twisted Fate, it was a 1v1, and Kennen's ahead a little bit here. Neither of them will go back yet, but this is going to be...
It's going in for the kill. Ambition needs to get out of the now. No, he's not going to survive this. Helios is going to have to run as well. Can't quite put out enough damage to kill off St. Vicious. Very nice play by CLG. Yep. They really want to get that 3rd game.
Because Big Fat was able to get level 6 before Ambition, they were able to pull off that gank at the perfect timing. Really nice job for that first blood.
Ambition knew that gank was coming. He was already standing really far back in mid, but he wanted those little few creeps, so he came up forward to try card, and then that timing, St. Vicious just went in for the flash W, and they got it.
Oh, the flash pulverize, I'm sorry, headbutt pulverize on double lift, not quite able to do enough damage. Captain Jack is out of mana right now as well, so it's hard for him to spam his abilities. But yeah, we've all been there before where you're like, okay, I know I'm going to get ganked, I need to be, but let me just kill one more creep real quick, and then you die, and you're like, aw.
That never happens to me. What are you talking about?
It happens to me all the time, man.
Hotshot doing a nice job of tanking these minions. He doesn't want them to get within turret range, so he can make sure that he's the one to get the last hits and make sure that he gets the gold instead of the tower getting it. Ambition back in lane. He did get 2 Doran's rings and a couple wards to defend against the later ganks. Nice, quick juggling here for MiG. Being able to steal the blue buff from CLG. That'll help even out some stuff in the jungle.
Very good invade. They knew Vayne and Soraka are very weak around low levels, and they had their jungler with them, so they just went in for the blue buff, and St. Vicious back, so there was nothing CLG could do to defend against that buff, or defend against that invade. And now that Graves has blue, bottom lane is going to be incredibly hard for Vayne. There's going to be very little she can do.
Exactly. He's going to get 6 in a moment as well. And Hotshot GG going in here. Fantasy Star trading with him. But look at that. Not doing a ton of damage. Cho'Gath already has the Ninja Tabby, which means he has a lot of armor. He's not taking as much damage from Talon's abilities. But you're exactly right. Graves with the blue buff is actually going to be really cool for Blaze. He's going to be able to spam out his buckshot, his smoke screens, do a lot of damage. Whereas usually he kind of has to conserve his mana for a quick burst.
Fantasy Star went with 2 Dorans instead of going for an early Brutalizer or saving up for a BS sword. As an assassin, it's okay to get Dorans, but it will set back your damage a lot. So Fantasy Star, not in a good position. This isn't where he wants to be. Around 8 minutes, he wants to have his Brutalizer. He wants to have a BS sword. Either one of the 2.
We have Ambition picking up that blue buff. He's going to return to the mid lane. And luckily for CLG, Kennen doesn't need that blue buff. You know, if they actually had Kennen, the blue buff, I mean not Kennen, if they'd had Anivia, for instance, losing that blue buff will be a lot bigger deal. So Kennen's still going to be able to do almost as well in the mid lane without the mana regeneration.
Vayne had to go back and buy her level 2 boots and 2 Doran blades, so she was leaving Lulu alone in lane, but not a whole lot of muscle going on Lulu, just a bit of lost troop score there. Not too bad for CLG. We do have Helios here positioning for a gank, but the word from Hotshot is going to be exactly what he needs to be able to get away. He's going to see this and immediately run. Nice positioning by him.
I feel like the minions would have seen that move anyway, but they definitely see him. Hotshot GG knows exactly what's going on. They're both going to chill in that bush.
It looks like he actually did turn off his
Hotshot's going to try to cancel the teleport. He should. Oh, he just let the Mundo go. He could have canceled this teleport, but he would give away that there's a ward there.
Yeah,
I think it would have been worth it to delay Mundo's teleport.
That was interesting. So with Vorpal Spikes, the ability that comes out with the auto attack from Cho'Gath, you can actually turn it off so it doesn't occur. And when he did that, it made it so that he didn't actually hit Dr. Mundo and allowed him to recall completely.
Interesting.
Maokai with the early oracles, clearing out the jungle. He already has his 2 gold per fight, so he's set for mid-game. So now St. Vicious wants to be a threat early game, and he got the oracles, and he's clearing out the wards. And now MiG Blades can't push out any of their lanes because they might get ganked by Maokai anytime.
Fantasy Star comes out of the bushes. Is that the Q? Nope. St. Vicious does not use that as his opportunity to jump on there. And he may have lost his chance because now his lane's pushing a little bit. Fantasy Stars, he must know what's going on. He's suspicious right now. He's staying way back, which is interesting. It's just game sense because he does not have a ward and they do not have a clairvoyance either, but they go in anyway. And then, the rupture lids! The ult from Maokai, is he going to be able to get him in time? Fantasy Star is ignited. He just needs to survive a little bit longer. No, he cannot.
Usually with a Talon, if you ult, they won't be able to catch you because you'll go in this, but Maokai had an
with
oracle,
the oracles, yeah.
And so Fantasy Star was left helpless.
Is he
where's
going to be able to
Ambition
get?
going?
No.
He just went top to clear out creep. Because if you pick a TF, you want to be able to roam around and gank lanes, but against the Kennen, really strong laner early game, and he's able to push out and clear creeps really easily, so TF hasn't had a chance to roam. And also with their bot, it's Graves and All-Stars, so they're always going to be pushing out, so the only lane you can realistically gank is top, but it's Cho'Gath, and it's really, really hard to gank a Cho'Gath, especially when Talon doesn't have any damage items. 12 minutes into the game and all he has is double Doran's, no mental, and level 1 boost. He's not going to be doing any damage to Cho'Gath. Blade's in a really bad position. And the longer the game goes on, the more Bane's just going to get stronger and stronger, and Bane's one of the strongest late game AD carries.
Yeah, we also see Mundo having a bit of a tough time in the jungle as well. He's able to go through it quickly, but he's needing to constantly cover for his teammates. And because of that, he's pretty low in the item department as well. But now he is going to try to do some counter jungle. He does know that Maokai's at the bottom lane, but this is going to be a gank for CLG. Are they going to be able to pull it off on Lust Boy? No, they're not, but that's going to scare them back a little bit. Continue to do some poke with the tossing of those saplings.
A good attempt there by St. Vicious, but not able to quite pull it off. But yeah, I really like how St. Vicious gets that early oracle so often. It's so handy for clearing things out. And of course it means that he can always know when he is detected or not if he's going for a gank. So that's something additional that he gets out of that. Of course he does have to spend an early 400 gold on it.
And Kennen going for a very, very early rod. As Kennen, you don't need to get Doran because you don't have mana. And he could have gone for a Will of Ancients, but he realized there's nobody else on his team that really does a lot of magic damage, so he just went straight for damage, which I really, really like.
Yeah, and because all the lanes for CLG were able to push up, they were able to secure all the ward coverage around their own buff, make sure they didn't lose the third one to the MiG team. Despite now they're actually going to be able to get some wards in the enemy jungle, know exactly where Dr. Mundo is going, and hopefully shut down a bit of his counter jungling that he's got going on.
Despite that early advantage that CLG got from the switching of the lanes, zoning out Talon and zoning out Graves a little bit as well, we do have Vayne has fallen behind in creep score, over 20, actually almost 30 behind Graves now. So the tables have turned, and with that Alistar there threatening to headbutt and pulverize you, it's much harder to get creeps. Oh, St. Vicious coming in the middle here. Ambition, if he pushes up a little bit farther, will be in danger. There he goes in. Oh, the root goes down on there. They're going to dive in. They're going to dive in. The ult goes up. Big but GG goes on tower. Oh my god, the Ignite takes him out though. Beautiful clutch Ignite in the grips of death, in the throes of his own demise. Gets the Ignite off so that the turret hit and the Ignite would get the kill. Nicely done.
GG went in a tiny bit early because St. Vicious was in his W state where he's untargetable, so the tower started targeting GG instead of St. Vicious, who wanted to tank. So if GG went in slightly a bit later, GG would have been safe and they would have been able to get a free kill. But now that because GG's dead and St. Vicious is low, MiG Blades is able to pick up a free dragon.
Yeah, nice job for MiG to turn a bad situation into a decent one for them. It was a 1-for-1 in the middle. They did lose an assist to CLG, but that did give them the free dragon like you're talking about. Definitely able to even up the gold score, giving them almost a K gold advantage, 0.7 for the moment. But like you were talking about, Captain Jack doing a really nice job in this bottom lane, up to 130 CS. He has not gotten back in a really long time. Didn't actually buy any door split, so he's going to be able to get that Infinity Edge really early if he wants to.
GG picked up a chain vest, which means he's going for a Zanyas, which I really like. Now GG can flash ult into a team, and he doesn't have to worry about getting headbutted out if he uses Zanyas.
Or into a tower and be able to tank a bit of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You can avoid the tower aggro as well for a short amount of time. Zonya's Hourglass is basically an item that gives you some ability power, more magic damage, and makes you completely untargetable for about 2 seconds, I think, right?
Not too sure on the numbers.
Anyway, it's a short time. It's enough. It's enough. Uh-oh, St. Vicious coming top. Talon's out of position. He has to ult to get out of there. But with the oracles, he's able to get him on tower enemies. It's a 4v1. Sorry, 3v1, but now it's a 3v2. The ult from Graves is able to get the kill. No! No, he does get away. Twisted Fate secures the kill on Maokai. Hotshot GG now running for dear life in enemy territory. And I'm sorry, he is not going to get away from 4 members of Blaze. The kill goes to Graves as well. And that gank attempt by St. Vicious turns into 2 deaths for CLG. Instead, they started out very strong, but CLG is letting this slip away from them.
Yeah, really nice job by Captain Jack. They pushed up their lane. He went back. He actually bought a Bloodthirster early on, so that's going to give him a lot of lifesteal as he levels that up. And then they were actually able to go out and help the top, which it would have been a 2-for-2 gank. With the middle lane from CLG coming as well, it would have been really in CLG's favor, but just the surprise attack from MiG, great job to turn that around on them. They're actually able to push up this top lane, flipping the lanes once again. Ambition going and holding the bottom lane until Talon can get there and try to farm up a little bit.
Also, because St. Vicious was holding an Oracle, now it's gone because he died. Once he forced the Talon Flash, he should have just backed off and not made that risky play, especially with the TF mid. TF mid can come and counter gank anytime. That was a really bad play by St. Vicious, and it put CLG really far behind. As Cho'Gath, if you die, you lose half your feet stack.
Yeah, that is one of the advantages of having that Twisted Fate on your team, is he can be very far from his current location very quickly. His teleport for his ultimate is not all the way across the map. It's been limited now to basically being kind of like the distance between lanes.
Also, Hotshot GZ going for a Frozen Heart, and St. Vicious also. They're both going for the same item. And because they're unique passive, they don't stack. One of them should be going for a different item. St. Vicious should be going for Randuin's because he already has a Heart of Gold. I don't like that they're both going for the same item. It's just bad communication.
Yeah, bad communication, but before they get to the 5v5 fight, they will actually be able to use both of it if they're in different locations on the map. But a lot of the AD damage coming out of Talon is not going to be too high, considering this point in the game. He's only got 83 CS compared to Cho'Gath's 125, so really nice job for Hotshot on the top lane to take what was a 20 CS disadvantage and make that even larger to 40. We do have Dragon going to be up in a little over 2 minutes, so they got quite a while before anything crazy is going to be happening, but they're going to want to be mid while Captain Jack is actually pushing up the top lane a little bit. Cho'Gath's going to try to say something about it, but Graves versus Cho'Gath, Graves is going to be able to get out quite easily, be able to dodge away from the Rupture, and then put on a lot of hurt.
Also, Graves didn't go any Dorians, and he doesn't have a defensive summoner. He went Ignite Flash, which means Graves is a very easy target. He does the most damage on MiG Blaze, so CLG would want to focus Graves first. He has the least HP. He doesn't have an escape summoner other than Flash, so it's going to be up to Jack Sparrow to position really well in a team fight.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. Of course, positioning is always pretty much very important for the AD carry. But Ambition is teleporting in somewhere. Are they going to go for? Yes, they are going to go for double lift down here. He's starting on his ultimate. He's trying to find somewhere to escape to. He goes back in though, trying to get Ambition. Is he going to get the kill? Another roll, and Ambition is going to go down, but not before Vayne does. Blast Boy coming in, knocking that Big Fat GG ultimate out of the way. And Big Fat GG is going to get away with the ultimate on him from Lulu. Who's going to die? Everyone in both teams is so low on health, and it looks like Blaze is going to back off here.
CLG doesn't have any damage, but other than Vayne, and Vayne died, and Big Fat is too low to stay in the fight any longer.
Yeah.
Blaze had their AD carry up top, so they aren't able to finish off anybody else.
Yeah,
and I feel that.
Oh, the duel going on down here. Oh, Captain Jack looked like he was going to try and go for a kill, but Hotshot GG got back behind the tower.
I felt that Chowster misused his ult. As GG still had his Zhonya's up, he could have Zhonya's and he would have been completely safe. If he ulted someone like Maokai who was up front, they would have knocked up people. They would have knocked people up into the air, and because of the slower, GG would have been able to catch up to them.
Yeah, Giant Growth has both a defensive and an offensive capability to it. What they had to do is, because they were using it on Kennen, they only got the defensive ability out of it, and that's less than half of the total potential from that ultimate. Like you were saying, Zhonya's was up. It could have been used at that time, and maybe they could have picked up another kill or two if they positioned a little bit better.
Doublelift going for Infinity as on Bane. I have never seen from him. I have never seen this from him before. He's going. He has sword and a pickaxe, so he's either going Bloodthirster into LW, but if he was going Bloodthirster, he would finish Bloodthirster because pickaxe costs 975 gold and the Bloodthirster recipe costs 900, so he's definitely going for an Infinity Edge.
Well, he is having a little bit of trouble farming, so he wouldn't be able to get the abilities. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. We do have a fight starting here.
Oh, very nice goal from St. Vicious.
St. Vicious gets way in the middle. He's going to try and get out. He does flash out now. The ultimate from Talon doing a lot of damage. Helios is very low on health. He needs to stay in the back now. Oh no, Ambition teleporting out does get Vayne after all. Vayne thought he was out of the fight. Whoa! Cannon pops immediately. Chowster's going to die as well. MiG gets completely routed. They actually almost killed Helios, but guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what happens when you focus Mundo? He doesn't die and you do, and that's exactly what happened. Blaze is now going to get Baron buff as well, since St. Vicious is going to recall right now. He's the only one on the team still alive.
Yeah, Captain Jack with that Bloodthirster is going to be able to absorb a lot of these hits from Baron until Helios and Lustboy get the help they need to be able to tank it themselves. Just rotating the hits around a lot. Really nice job. Able to take down Baron very, very quickly. Wow. Awesome, awesome timing from...
GG's not making use of his Zhonya's at all in team fights. Oh my god. That's so bad. And also Doublelift was separated from the team, and Talon was able to isolate him from the fight, and he wasn't able to focus key targets. A lot of the members from MiG Blaze were really, really low. If Doublelift was grouped up with the team, that fight might have went different.
Yeah, it should basically be half the team's responsibility to protect that AD carry basically in this kind of situation. And they were not able to. Of course, Doublelift very, very skilledly was able to get kind of out of there, but Ambition on Twisted Fate said, no, you do not escape. I see all and can go all places. Track him down. Oh, wow. Captain Jack going after Vayne here. Vayne forced to... Oh, no! Oh, the teleport in from Ambition secures the kill. Doublelift has been alive about 30 seconds out of the last 2 minutes. Oh, this has not been going well at all. Blaze is running away with this game. They're about 7,000 gold ahead now.
Yeah, 7,000 gold. They still have the Baron buff, so they're going to be able to siege this bottom turret as soon as it's no longer favorable. Dragon is also up there. They can be able to back off and get that if they want to. Meanwhile, we saw Talon selling both of the longswords, deciding not to go for the Brutalizer, grabbing that Bloodthirster instead. If she can get the farm that, or if he can get the farm that he needs, he's going to be able to get really, really tanky pretty quickly and just dish out a ton of damage. Cho'Gath's going to need to weaken top lane to help defend this bottom lane. But that's going to lose both the bottom lane and the top lane turrets if MiG Blaze decides to keep this pressure on. But Vayne has now spawned, so they don't want to stay here for too long.
That was a really good choice by Fantasy Star to sell and now complete a Brutalizer, because there's 2 Glacial Shrouds and Hotshot already upgraded to a Frozen Heart. Oh yeah. That tiny armor pen won't do anything. It's just better to go for straight AD and finish Last Whisper later on. And Fantasy Star thought exactly like I did, and he sold his longsword. Very good play.
Excellent. Fantasy Star is going to go ahead and...
nice rake there, clearing all the minions.
Yeah. Clear up middle there, and back off. Oh no, they might catch Hotshot GG. Rupture goes down. Is he going to die before anything happens, though? He does go down with the headbutt from Alistair, finishing him off. Looks like MiG Blaze is going to get this mid tower and going to be able to push up to this inhibitor tower. It is 4v5. Oh wow, that was really scary. Vayne was out of position, but Doublelift's going to go all the way around the side to make sure he doesn't get picked off by the Blaze team. Man, this is going to be so bad. If CLG loses an inhibitor, they will be very, very far behind. They're a lot behind. Oh no, oh my gosh, a huge move there, but that does bring him way out of position. Helios is going down very quickly. He's running in the middle of the battle. Can Doublelift stay alive? He gets the kill. Can he stay alive? No! Doublelift goes down. St. Vicious is going to go down if he stays in the fight. Big Fat GG goes down as well. Not sure why he was standing nearby that fight with so few hit points, and they're going to lose an inhibitor. Can Hotshot GG actually hold off 4 members of Blaze, though?
GG's not really used to using Danya. He's always flashing out, then using Danya. He's never using Danya right after he ult. With this, you can see that CLG wasn't really planning on GG to go 80-10 in mid, or 80-10 in mid.
Fantasy Star getting a little bit cocky here, going for the kill on tower and losing his life instead. Hotshot GG is going to survive this unless he stays around with the Ignite on him. And he dies to Graves as a result. Wow, I mean, CLG, it seems like they might be a little bit flustered here. They're sticking around with low hit points, and I mean, sometimes that's good in different situations because you can still have an effect on a fight, but they're dying as a result, and they could have had, you know, their whole team up by now, but instead they keep losing people one by one, and they have an inhibitor down now and 1 bear as well.
Yeah, they started this game off extremely strong, but just little mistake after little mistake is starting to go hugely in Blaze's favor.
Zack Sparrow incredibly farmed Banter, Bloodthirster, Infinity's Edge, and the Megatron clone at 26 minutes into the game. He's going to be able to kill anything. He's just going to right click and he's going to kill anything. And the thing is, for CLG, Doublelift is able to clean up if there's other offensive threats from CLG, but Maokai's just a defensive threat, and GG not using its Zhonya's properly. So nobody's being a tank for Doublelift. Nobody's being a threat for Doublelift, and Doublelift, he can't really do the damage he needs. While MiG, Blaze has Talon doing incredible damage on Doublelift, and TF doing a lot of poke damage. They have very low MR, and because of Talon and Graves, they can't stock MR.
Ambition gets caught, but
yeah, we also see that Chasser has been using his ultimate to try to keep Ken alive, but only after Ken has already removed himself from the battle. So a lot of the ability from the ultimates of CLG is just going completely wasted, and then it's just going to go more and more in MiG's favor if they keep doing something like that.
MiG now putting in the pressure on the second inhibitor. If they can get 2 inhibitors down,
TF pushing top, he can teleport back to bottom anytime. Oh, he's coming near for bottom. They're preparing for a 5v5. The only way CLG can win this fight is if they pick off Graves really early.
Yeah, they need to somehow pick off Graves. Luckily for them, Graves is a close-up champion, so he has to get in nearby. But look at that, St. Vicious, who would normally be the one who wanted to dive on top of Graves, instead has to fall back, taking so much damage from crit after crit from that Graves. And look, Doublelift is forced to go up here to top. And like you said, Ambition can teleport it if he needs to, but unless he dies, he turns on his ultimate to try and get away. Doublelift gets, oh no! Doublelift gets picked off. That might be game, ladies and gentlemen. MiG has picked off the main damage source. Now they're pushing in. They're going to be able to get off more kills. Hotshot GG is going to go down. The ultimate comes from Big Cat. GG does use his Zonius this time. Can he do enough damage? No, he gets headbutted away. Oh my god, a 5 for nothing. A 5 for nothing. MiG Blaze completely obliterating CLG. And ladies and gentlemen, the Titan team from North America, the top 3 of several of the past European and American tournaments, has been defeated. Blaze is advancing to the semifinals.
GG, once again, that last fight, GG wasn't able to ult. He ulted, but he got exhausted beforehand, before using Zhonya. GG never got a proper ult the whole entire game. This shows that Kennen is a really, really versatile